Today we are exploring the Mill Creek Nature Center, and this is an 88-acre wetland preserve that is actually right next to the Mall of Georgia, and I mean right next to the Mall of Georgia. So come on with us as we go checking out boardwalk trails, diverse wildlife, and we're going to check out some active conservation efforts which we support and applaud. So whether you're a bird enthusiast, a nature photographer, or simply just love climbing observation towers, this is the place for you. All right, let's go check it out. So, parking is limited. It's just a tiny little strip of land here. And prior to 2003, this was just some undeveloped wetlands. Now it is a 1.4 mile hike through the woods on crushed gravel and boardwalks, elevated boardwalks. Do wear shoes that are okay getting a little muddy. We went after a recent rain and it was definitely a little muddy, but it was awesome. You can make it about 2 miles if you really stretch it and go down all the side quests to like the amphitheater and to the observation tower and things. So the park is open daily from sunrise to sunset. The trails are for foot traffic only. Bikes, motorized vehicles are not allowed. And it's a loop. There's an east gate and a west gate. Since this was off to the left, we're going to start off to the left-handed side. I didn't see any surveillance cameras, but that doesn't mean they're not there. This amphitheater is really cool. I can imagine lots of young elementary school age kids learning about the importance of wetlands and the importance of conservation here and growing into future hikers and nature lovers themselves. And after the amphitheater, it's just a short walk to get back onto the main trail. Again, like a lot of the places we go, you'd have to try really hard to get lost out here. You are surrounded by cars in this preserve. So, no matter what, you're never going to be far from civilization out here. Now, one thing I want you to notice is how high this boardwalk is off the ground, and that's going to come into play later once we cross this bridge. But we came here shortly after some heavy rains, and this entire wetland did exactly what a wetland's supposed to do. It flooded, and it flooded above the boardwalk in a lot of places, so definitely a muddy, dirty, yet fun hike. These bridges are awesome, by the way. Super well built. Great place to look over the creek. Take a look out for some of the over 150 bird species that have been documented here. So if you're into bird watching, this is definitely a cool place for you if you don't mind hearing car traffic the entire time. Some of the species you're going to see here are great blue herons, barred owls, red-shouldered hawks, vultures, ducks, of course, Carolina wrens, mourning doves, two birds very near and dear to my heart. I helped raise some mourning doves last year. Now, I did not know this. River cane is native to this area and looks a lot like bamboo. So, thank you very much for teaching me something new. All right, do be careful. It looks like this has been washed away. Now, to be fair, this was built in 2015, so this thing is 9 years old. And there it is, over there, the observation deck. Looks like a tree must have fallen and whacked it. Just use common sense, people. And like a moth to a flame, even with a slightly damaged boardwalk and some mud everywhere. Okay, so we've had some rain recently, and it must have really flooded back here, because wow, I don't think this is what it normally looks like. This is crazy. All right, we have the loop trail. We're going to figure this out first. We're going to do the observation tower. Okay, definitely got some dog tracks. Those are raccoon. Now, me personally, I'm like a moth to a light when it comes to observation towers, so I don't mind if there's mud. I don't care if the boardwalk's washed out. I'm going to make it to the top of this observation tower and every other observation tower I come across. As we make our way up the tower, along with having over 150 different birds, there's also 61 different species of dragonflies and damselflies. So, surprising amount of nature just jammed into this little 88-acre preserve that is literally right next to a huge shopping mall with like 3-lane traffic.
It's a real good cinematic place.
The observation tower is honestly one of my highlights and favorite parts of the whole trail.
The only thing normally has a lot of clean money in channels. Well, it's not very long.
And just like the amphitheater, after the observation tower, you just jump back on the trail and carefully head over this little part. It's not too bad. And make your way back to the loop. I want to extend a huge thank you to the Georgia Wildlife Federation for everything they do, and especially for all the hard work that you've done with the Mill Creek Nature Center. Thank you so much. I have a soft spot for Carolina wrens. We had one build a nest last year inside our catnip plant below where our cat hangs out and raise her babies. So love me a Carolina wren. Whoa. Did you see all those birds? As I've mentioned earlier, it rained a lot recently, so I just wanted to give you a couple more shots to show you how high the creek flows and how much of this area floods. And so we are missing a huge chunk of the boardwalk because it's all washed away over here. Do not walk on something like this if you ever come across it. There are tons of nails and things like that that could just ruin a day. So don't ever walk on any wood you see like this. But whoa. But the watershed is working. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is to handle water when it rains heavy or snows heavy and it all has to go somewhere, and there's too much of it to just go into the ground naturally. Well, it sheds and it comes down to a place like this. And so this is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Woo! Even if it looks a little destructive. These are the nails this is put together with, and the water is still able to rip it apart. Just wow. Wow. And it's not just the birds and the dragonflies, but some of our dear friends are across the creek there. If you can see them, they're very camouflaged, so you have to look very closely. They did not seem to care at all about me and just kept on doing what they were doing. Speaking of dear friends, there was a lot of animal tracks in the mud. I definitely was able to identify raccoon tracks. I was definitely able to identify possum tracks, dog tracks, bird tracks. And there's even some I couldn't identify that we're going to show you later. So here to the right is the other bridge that'll take us back and complete the loop. There's also a little side quest here called the Confluence Trail. So if you've ever watched any of our videos, you know we like to get all the stars. We like to complete everything. Totally worth it too. Nice little viewing platform at the end of this. And this trail is where I saw probably the most collective animal prints. There's animal prints all over the trail, but this one had the most variety in one location. See if you can identify those prints in the comments.
It's all the wild Pokemon. This invasive species pushed them out. You didn't know that?
Well, I caught them all so they can be
So we are not the first critters to come back here.
I don't think I've ever seen a duck like that in Georgia.
Ironically, it was shortly after saying that I actually did see one of these wood ducks, and fun fact, they have 8 nesting boxes for wood ducks, meaning they have fostered one of the largest breeding populations of wood ducks in Gwinnett County, with over 30 ducklings hatched annually. So, if you're looking for a cuteness overload, definitely try to get down here and see if you can spot some baby ducklings without disturbing the parents. And off in the distance, those are Canadian geese. They are not wood ducks. We'll get some more shots of those as we come around this pond. But we're basically completing the loop now. So as we come around here, after crossing over what would be the second bridge, there's a small pond, and just up there to the left is where we parked. So we're back on the Ivy Creek Greenway. Parking's at the top of that hill over there down here.
You can go east, you can go west.
It's hard to do a thumbs up and not be self-conscious or be silly, but I definitely approve of this trail. For sure, it's a Tzumi Woods approved trail. And here we've got some more of the Canadian geese. This was shortly after I saw the wood duck. I don't think I got a good film of that. All right, as we wrap this trail up, I just want to say thank you again to the Georgia Wildlife Federation for everything you do. If you get the opportunity, come check out the Mill Creek Nature Center. You will be shocked that such an oasis of wildlife exists right next to a gigantic shopping mall. Thanks again. We'll see everybody out there in the woods. Tzumi Woods says over and out. I still don't have a good outro. I'm still working on it.